Hey, you two guys right there. What are y'all's names?
Brandon Dean.
William what? I need to talk to you. Come here. You got some blood right here. How'd you get blood on your face?
Probably holding him.
This was the exact moment when this man realized he'd accidentally slipped up and the cops were about to discover his evil secret. Detectives had just discovered a body in the very truck he owned and drove home with his friend.
Let me just get this straight. So y'all were driving down the road. Y'all see this guy on the side of the road.
It had come laid off in the ditch.
Yeah. So y'all pick him up and put him in the back of your truck?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
You didn't think you should probably call the police there?
This was just the beginning. The cops would stumble upon some shocking leads that would change the course of the investigation completely.
That's not what it seems, man. You know, I didn't do it, man. I did not do it. But I didn't kill Steve, man. I didn't kill him.
On September 8th, 2019, Craighead County Police received a distress call from someone.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I need an ambulance out here on County Road 625.
What's going on?
A guy got hurt or run over or something.
Where is he hurt at? What happened?
I really don't know. I know he's laying off on the side.
But before they could respond, they were informed that the situation had been resolved.
Oh, he's fine.
Is he? Are you sure?
Yeah. Yes.
What happened? Did he just pass out for a second?
I think what he done was he got drunk and fell in the ditch.
Oh, he's been drinking?
Yeah, we just passing by and he was laying in the ditch.
Okay. Do I need to send somebody to come check on him?
No.
Okay.
No, we're good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
However, just moments later, another call came in. This time from a man who had stumbled upon a horrifying scene. A man lying unresponsive.
We've had a direct call for a 56-year-old male, unresponsive, not breathing. Not breathing? Okay. What's the address? Samantha?
Go ahead.
We're out to Samantha.
The officer's instinct immediately suspected that the victim was the same person from the previous 911 call. As the officers reached there, they indeed found a body, but there were some unexpected and shocking details. The condition and location of the victim's body raised more questions for them. The officers found that the deceased body was in the back of the truck and someone had driven it there.
Where's the guy that drove him here?
I got a John Doe, Bob.
Yeah, where's the guy that drove him here?
In the house getting his ID. Hello! I want to run from you.
Didn't say you were.
This is Dan, the man who had called 911 after discovering the body.
Just coming to check on it. Here, talk to me real quick. I just got here. Is this your truck?
I'll be in there.
Did you drive it here?
Go ahead.
Nope.
Let me just get this straight. So y'all were driving down the road. Y'all see this guy on the side of the road.
It had come laid off in the ditch.
Yeah. So y'all pick him up and put him in the back of your truck?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
You didn't think you should probably call the police there?
Well, if I'd had a phone, I probably would have.
Oh, you said you didn't have a phone?
Yes, sir. No.
This was one of the strangest things someone can do, and the scene was getting more complex by the second. The victim was identified as 58-year-old Steven McQuay. It appeared that he'd been beaten and involved in a fight. He had bludgeoning marks on his head and face, along with several scratches on his arms. The bruises on his arms looked like he'd been involved in a fight. This raised even more questions in the officer's mind. They couldn't understand why these random people who had found his body brought it with them. By now, Dan's behavior had already put him on their radar.
131 dispatch.
Go ahead.
Was there a picture with this Steven McQuay?
Yeah, for you.
Can you send that to me? I didn't get it.
I know, yeah. Well, as soon as I got up here, I saw who it was. I was like, no. That's not what happened.
Do you know how hard it is to hold a freaking body up like that? Somebody pretty good sized bullet. How hard it is to hold a freaking body up?
The officers found the 32-year-old William Weston Moon was the truck's owner. They then reached his house, hoping to see him and unravel the truth behind this mystery.
Where's this other guy? I need to talk to him.
He's next door.
He's next door?
Oh, yeah, he's one door.
721.
I need to talk to him.
West.
What is Weston wearing?
He's wearing a hat. He's kind of got a beard.
Okay.
He's about this tall. I don't understand why he'll.
What clothes? What shirt?
I think he's got a white shirt on.
White shirt?
Yeah.
Older guy? You see about 30s though, right? All right. Walk over here. Here's what's gonna happen, okay? Our detectives are on the way over here. They're gonna want to talk. They're gonna want to talk to you. They're probably gonna want to get an official statement from you. I'm gonna go try to track Weston down because he's in the same boat. We need a statement from him. I mean, because we got a dead guy here.
As one team took Dan with them for an interview, another team began canvassing the area for fruitful information.
Hey, you care talking to one of these text room?
What's the phone?
Is there anybody else in here?
It's my daughter and my little baby. They're sleeping.
This lady was Dan's ex-girlfriend, and realizing the significance of the information she could reveal, they began questioning her.
I don't know. I have no idea what happened. All I know is me and my daughter and my grandbaby was in my room playing the game. And next thing you know, they come pulling up real fast, the lights flashing. Of course, I come outside and I'm saying, what the hell's going on? You know what's going on? And he's like, call them. Someone had the number. So I moved it and now I'm and it's used my phone and went back in the house.
Did they ever come in the house at all?
No. No, they're not. Because we're no longer together. They're not on my house.
Does he stay here at all?
No, no.
Okay. How long's it been since he stayed here?
Well, we got into a big argument, and he packed his belongings. He went supposed to be this morning.
So he was here up until today, basically. Is that?
Yeah.
The officers wanted to leave no stone unturned in this investigation. Dan was her ex, wasn't allowed in the house at all, and now he had a body in a truck that made him even more suspicious. Although they believed her, they still wanted to check her house for any lurking danger against her and her kids.
Boy, step in here and look around just because of all the circumstances. There's not anybody in here, is there? Hello. Yeah, looking through the house over here. But I'm about to walk out. Thank you.
I don't need anything else there.
Thank you.
Even though their search resulted in no outcome, they were about to receive critical information about what they'd been waiting for.
We then received word that the driver of the truck, William Weston, was at a convenience store nearby, and officers were dispatched to that convenience store to see if, in fact, he was there.
With this information, the officers decided to reach the scene, but they were worried about something.
Whenever you have a suspect that flees from a scene, that puts everybody on high alert. You don't know what they're capable of. You don't know what's going on.
What is your name? What is your name? What did you say? Kyle. All right. Hey, you two guys right there. What are y'all's names?
Brandon D.
William what? I need to talk to you. Come here.
As the officers took him in for questioning, William said something that confused the officers even more.
Is that your truck over there? Why would you walk away? Why would you walk away?
Because the incident take place.
You don't think you need to talk to us?
I figured I do, but not ride my nerves goddamn. That's my best friend in the world.
William revealed that the victim, Steven, was his best friend. This shocking detail raised a red flag among detectives who wondered what else he might be hiding.
His behavior is very erratic, very similar to the way Dane's was. Didn't seem overly concerned about his best friend in the whole world lying dead in the back of his pickup truck, hundreds of yards away from where this store is.
Understanding the gravity of the situation, the detectives searched his pockets and thoroughly examined him, but didn't find anything threatening. Just when they thought the search was over, they spotted something unusual.
You got some blood right here. How'd you get blood on your face?
Well, it's holding in.
His explanation wasn't enough to convince the detectives. The investigators believed that William was deliberately giving false narratives, so they took him in for an interrogation. Even before it could start, William already seemed confident, like an innocent person. But what was the truth?
Do what?
As soon as he was sitting in the room, his demeanor completely changed. He suddenly appeared devastated and emotionally withdrawn.
It's not what it seems, man. You know.
Do what now?
They're gonna try to charge me with something that I didn't do, man. I did not do it. But I didn't kill Steve, man. I didn't kill him.
Even though William continued to claim he wasn't involved, detectives believed that he knew something that could break open the entire case.
You say somebody else did?
I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say.
There's any amount of ways that this interview could go. I mean, he could just sit up and confess everything right then and there. You know, maybe this person's not the one who did it, but saw something and is scared to say.
At that moment, no one was sure if he was being honest or just putting on an act. Therefore, taking his emotional state into account, the detective decided to engage with him in a calm manner.
You need somebody to talk to, you think? Did you say? Who you need to talk to? All right, collect your thoughts, man. Work and understand you. I know you're upset.
I don't know what to do, man.
Gotta ask a witness perspective there. Did somebody else do something?
Just as detectives sensed they were close to a confession, he did something unexpected.
If I could get my tiny head today.
Well, you know, you said you wanted a lawyer, so I can't ask you any questions. I mean, if you want to tell me something you want me to hear, and you don't mind doing it in front of a lawyer, it's entirely up to you. I told you that. Out today, probably tomorrow, we'll see that you do. I don't know what the hold up on jail is, but I'll find out and let you know. So just have a seat there, and I'm gonna have somebody come get you. I'll be right back. Okay?
His decision not to cooperate with detectives led the investigation to another dead end. However, detectives were determined to solve the case.
We're relying on eyewitness testimony, evidence, and everything else to try to build this case as to what happened.
This was the moment they received some information that highlighted the gruesome nature of this homicide that they were dealing with.
Once we got our autopsy results back, it was noted that there was blunt force trauma to the head and abdomen area. And Stephen had a tumor in his abdomen that was ruptured from some blunt force.
The toxicology report also showed he had a substantial amount of methamphetamine in his system at the time of his death. It was a homicide, but the cancerous tumor that was found on his liver showed multiple blunt force injuries was the cause of his death.
With all these details, the detectives were sure that the killer had deliberately harmed Stephen. Still, they lacked exclusive clues against their prime suspects. But they didn't lose their hope and decided to take another approach, bringing Dane for questioning. In no time, they were on the verge of a significant breakthrough. Dane was about to slip away.
What time did they come pick you up from your house to take you to see Melanie?
Okay, let's call my wife's number, because she knows exactly what time I live, between 4 and 5.
4 and 5 p.m.?
Even,
Okay.
yeah.
Between 4 and 5, okay. I'm thinking.
Right, somewhere around there.
4 or 5 p.m. Okay, what happened then when?
We stopped at this lady's house.
Well,
Before, this first time I ever met her.
Where at?
Out there, close to Harrisburg.
How long were you there?
30 minutes. That's where I think they got some of the blues.
While they were in Harrisburg, they picked up Xanaxes, in which Stephen and Weston both were eating that night. After they got the blue Xanax, they drove out to a friend's house on County Road 625, or where he said that Weston and Stevens got into a fight.
Where the fight happened?
Oh, it was later than that. It was already dark.
About what time do you think it was? What I'm asking. I didn't tell you the time. I just asked about the time.
9 or 10 maybe. I'm not exactly certain, but somewhere in there. Well, Weston took off with the backpack.
Weston did?
No, I mean, Stephen did. Okay, well, I went down the road, made him come back. Okay, and then when he come back, that's when Weston started in on him about saying, you need to take your backpack off right now. And then went from there. That somehow ended up with a screwdriver at the time. Yeah, I think you already had it because they was just already beeping. Okay. And then that's when they started fighting. Okay.
He revealed everything that happened after 4 p.m., including how William's argument over a backpack escalated into something dangerous. It was just the beginning of the revelation. Dane informed the detectives another shocking series of events happened that night. Dane claimed that Weston had knocked Steven down multiple times and badly beaten him, but insisted he didn't kill him. According to Dane, Steven was still alive when everything was over. But if that were true, what really happened next that led to Steven's death? And what more was Dane hiding?
Steven was his cousin, which unbeknownst to me at the time, which shot more holes in his story that they just found a body out on the side of the road. Dane also told me that during the altercation, Steven had walked off from the address on County Road 625 and went down the road and actually had fallen off into a ditch.
Additionally, the investigators also realized something more significant that aligned with their initial investigation.
That sequence of events also lined up with a 911 call we had received earlier that evening. We then determined that the 911 caller, it sounds like Dane.
Upon realizing that the 911 caller might be Dane, they inquired and discovered more details about that fateful event when they received a call.
So now I'm realizing Dane had decided to call 911 and was trying to get an ambulance out to County Road 625. While on the phone with dispatch, explaining to them what was going on, Steven had started moving around, and so that Dane had decided that he was okay and didn't need an ambulance anymore and tried to call off the dispatch.
This raised even more questions. How did he place the first 911 call if he didn't have a phone? And if he was the killer, why would he alert the police while he was still at the scene with Steven's body? There was no doubt he was hiding something, but what? Following the given information, it was confirmed that Dane was being dishonest from the very start. They then called the local resident, Beth, who was also Steven's friend, in the hope that she might reveal something crucial. And what she was about to share changed entirely everything that the detectives thought they knew. She mentioned that she saw William hit Steve that night.
You're adamant that you didn't see any of the actual fight, you saw the one punch.
The two lunges Steve made at Weston with, whatever it was in his hand, him hitting him with the backpack, and Weston punched him in the face, but hard enough that where he went down, but he didn't stay down, he got right back up. And I'm like, well, that's for me, you know what I mean? And
Who hit who with the backpack?
Steve hit Weston with the backpack because he had the backpack on. Yeah, he swung him, he had the backpack on his shoulder, and he swung it at Weston and kind of hit him, not really. But that happened, and then it was a good 2 minutes before I saw Steve with the stabbing type.
Were you outside the whole time?
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes this time. Long enough to smoke a cigarette.
Okay, after Steve hit Weston with the backpack, what went on then?
Weston saying, you better get your cousin, you better get your cousin, you better get the thief off of me. I mean, obviously there was stuff going on I didn't see, but they were down the road. And I thought at that point they wouldn't be back, but then they were in the backyard. And
It was now becoming increasingly apparent that William was the killer of Steve. But just as they thought, that narrowing down their investigation on him, another crucial lead emerged. Beth mentioned that there was someone else present around the scene as well, Billy.
Billy was well known to our whole department as well, and it ended up he had a warrant for him, so that kind of threw up a red flag.
Billy lived in the area where Steven was murdered, and he was already under the police's radar. Considering his history, they suspected he could also be involved in the murder.
Billy, get your ass out here now! There's still one more in this house, supposedly, that won't come out. He ain't coming out for a reason. You see something? Yeah, a door. Hey, whoa! Hands up! All the way, keep them up. All the way out. All the way out. Turn around. Turn around.
After capturing Billy, they went inside the house to check for any other danger lurking around.
Sheriff's office! I got a door right here. We're gonna need another one. On me. Hard left, hard right. Clear, coming out.
We knew that we needed to check the house, check the residence.
We got this door to the left. Door to the left. Hold what you got, Mark. Clear, coming out. Coming out.
After clearing the house, they took Billy to the police van, but just as they were walking by, something happened that put him more under suspicion.
$25, y'all get over here for a second. Wake up, dude. He just fell out on me. Wake up, dude. Billy. Billy. Wake up, dude.
What is this? Oh, what are you doing?
Try to get you awake. You good? Are you ready to get in the truck?
It's gonna happen again, man. I just hear.
We'll sit down before it happens again.
They then took him in for questioning, and Billy began unraveling the secrets about Steven's murder. What he revealed next shocked the officers, but at the same time corroborated their initial findings.
This interview with Billy, the reference incident occurred on camera 615 involving Weston Moon and Steven McQuay. Do you know either one of those guys?
I know both of them. I mean, I went to school with Weston. He's younger than me, but I went to school with Weston. Steve met through other folks in a different way. I don't really know Steve. I know who he is.
Billy then claimed something that would turn the entire case upside down for everyone involved.
I ate dinner last night. I went outside to smoke a cigarette. And I didn't even know I was there until I stepped on the porch and kind of freaked me out. I said, whoa, damn. I didn't know anybody's here.
All right, let's start there. You went outside to smoke a cigarette last night. About what time was this? I
could look at my phone and tell you. I called Justin to let him know that, hey, these people are out here in your yard arguing. Is
that Justin?
Maybe Weston, Steve, and some other dude have been hanging out in your yard. They're up on pills, I think, and I don't know how long they've been here.
I see that.
Midnight.
I see that.
The officers had initially suspected him to be involved in Steven's murder, but with his claims and evidence surrounding him, proving he had nothing to do with Steven's murder, he was ruled out of suspicion. But his statement had given the police one crucial hint about the killer. Now, everything was hinting at one person, William. But there was one issue. His confession was missing. This is why the detectives were monitoring his phone calls in the jail in the hopes that they might hear something that would give them a break they needed to solve this case.
What does the law say about it? You mean it just being a fist fight and being an accident?
He was already showing his concern to his friend about the punishment he might receive in the end.
How you doing? What's up, man? I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll at least drop it down to manslaughter, you know what I mean?
Well, there's two different kinds. There's voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary is carries less time.
I mean, what does the law say about it? You mean it just being a fist fight and being an accident?
You didn't intend to do nothing.
I wasn't even intending to fight him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all gonna work out, I imagine. Gonna have to. I mean, it was all just a big old accident, man. I know it.
It was the first time he was revealing his own involvement in the murder. No one knew that this time, a significant breakthrough was about to unfold, one that the detectives had been desperately waiting for. William was ready to surrender only if Captain Richardson would be present there, as his father shared an experience with him, making William trust him as well.
Weston wanted to tell me his side of the story. He decided. He began to tell me that, Steven McQuay actually attacked him first.
Seizing the opportunity, Captain Richardson began his conversation with William, knowing that he was close to discovering his darkest secrets.
You want to talk to me about that? So anyway, you was telling me there's something to threaten your life? And come at you? I'd heard he pulled a screwdriver on you initially. This is what one of the detectives told me.
I don't know what I put on it, right?
Huh?
I don't know what I put on it.
But back in there, you said that y'all fight, he'd leave, and he'd come back and had a different weapon every time?
It's something different every time, and he come at me every time. You know.
What kind of weapon was it? Did he have?
One time he had a big old stick of some sort. Because I don't know what he come back with my house. You know, he'd come at me forcefully, you know. And I didn't know how to react, man.
Okay. Well, that makes a little more sense.
Captain Richardson pressed the conversation in an attempt to know anybody else's involvement, but William confirmed that he acted alone in committing the crime, which already ruled out Dan as a suspect. The detectives assembled all the details and made a theory of what likely transpired that evening, ultimately leading to Steven's death.
Basically, what it all comes down to is you had two friends, both of which were inebriated and impaired, got into a fight over a backpack. Inside the backpack is probably the blue Xanax. Fight gets out of control. One of them beats the other one severely, kicks him in the head, kicks him in the stomach multiple times, which causes a tumor to rupture on his liver. Ends up killing him. Well, he thinks he killed him, decides to inject him with some methamphetamine to wake him up, which doesn't work.
After gathering all the evidence against William, the trial for the murder of Stephen Alex McQuay began at the court. The prosecutor presented all crucial evidence explaining the fateful night, including Dan's testimony. Additionally, William's confession also played a significant role in proving his involvement in the crime. He also confessed to injecting meth into Stephen in the hope of waking him up, which ultimately caused his death. Finally, the jury examined all the details and announced that William had pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was charged with second-degree murder. Consequently, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, in May 2022, he was released on parole. Although he was released, later on, the detectives felt somewhat relieved by bringing closure to Stephen's family. However, it came with a mix of sadness, knowing that Stephen's life was taken so senselessly.
He was never involved in anything violent. I never knew anybody that physically wanted to hurt him. You know, it was just sad because I knew Steve for almost 20 years. Never had a crossword with him, never had any bad dealings with him or anything like that. For him to go out like this was totally unexpected.
The truth was even more painful for those who once saw William as a friend. The fact that Stephen's own best friend was responsible for his death was something they could never fully understand. No amount of justice could take away their pain. Yet, no matter what, Stephen's memory would always live on in their hearts.
One pointless fight has taken away the son, the brother, the uncle, the dad, the grandpa. One day when Kevin has children, they won't know Stephen. They'll just know Stephen through stories.
If my dad was sitting across from me right now, I would tell him that I love him more than anything. I would say to him that no matter what happened between us or in our relationship, that I've always loved him and I've always wanted him to be my father. And that I would tell him that's my dad.
With this, we ask you, was Steve actually involved in drugs with William? Or were there other reasons for him to kill? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we bring you more interesting true crime cases. If there's any particular case you'd like us to cover, please leave your suggestions in the comment section. Your suggestions are important to us. Till then, stay safe and keep watching M7 Crime Story.